Hi, everybody. Slightly earlier start, and you know the reason why before I even say it, but we have been yelled at, begged at, and many a suggestion has been given to do tonight's show a little bit earlier for those of you who are going to be following Newcastle United in the second leg against Southampton in the Cup. So we are here now for that reason. I'm not alone. My name's Alan Robson, as well, you know. And next door, we have Hollywood McShane. Kenny is it's in James's Park, revving up a crowd of people in a bar. So he's not going to be with us tonight. However, we do have a few bits and pieces and quite a few messages and a couple of questions and bits and pieces. If you've got any questions, if there's anything you want to talk about, feel free to do that. We would love to hear from you in any which way. And you do that just by sending us a WhatsApp or a text and let us know that you want to come on or that you have a question to tell us, and we will, Tony, put it up on the screen and we'll sort it out for you. Now, last week, as well, you know, we ended up doing a bit of a plague trail in the east of Newcastle upon Tyne. Yeah, technically the Eusburn, well, it was the Eusburn area, but so much more there than anybody could possibly have imagined. And that was down to you guys again. You sent me some brief information about the plague cemetery there, and we just picked it up and ran with it. And it's happened time and time and time again with you guys. So if there is an area or a place, even if it's a place we've done, if there's another side of that town, village, city that we haven't covered, we're happy to give it a go. Tomorrow night, we're kind of inside and outside simultaneously. So an interesting one, I think you'll find. Give you a clue or two about that a little bit later on. But Tony, you've got a few bits and pieces from
well, I have a couple of pictures from the supporters group, but obviously if you've got anything, you can pop it in the chat.
Always.
And I will put it in to show everybody. So here it is.
Okay.
This is from Audra. There we go. Something in the window.
Now, we mentioned that we could see stuff in the window. We couldn't see that much, mind, I have to say.
Not from where we were, but she's obviously got a big TV and a good zoom button.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
If you follow the white stripes of a military uniform, that could be a man saluting, couldn't it?
Yeah. It does look like a skeletal figure or something, doesn't it?
Looks like a figure. It's odd to be in that position for the length of time that it was. What I was seeing was a full-bodied figure, but not in that kind of clarity. That's like super bright, super zoomy. So well done, Audra. Thank you very much.
Oh, I've lost.
Well spotted.
I've lost connection from my mouse.
What's happened? From your mouse?
Yes, it's lost connection. So
you go and look after that if you want, because I've got a few bits and pieces.
Yeah, I just can't change the screen at the minute. I'm just going to have to try and sort this out. Wow.
Right. There's not a moose loose in his house. First of all, there's a lot of people have sent me little messages. Sometimes I don't get them. Now, I was told by someone, when you've got thousands coming in, and it's literally thousands across a week, you don't catch all of them. And I was told that Vicky Tinian had a message for me, but I've tried to find it on the system without success. So, Vicky, my apologies to you. If you let us know what it is, I will either answer it or respond to it, certainly. Michelle from Embleton, we did a couple of things in Embleton, just short visits when we were flying around, and one of them was to Embleton. And she says that her family's from Embleton, and they've heard the story of the paper, but the story that she's heard is just there's supposed to be a ghostly Scottish paper that you can hear late at night, the sound, the drone of the bagpipes, and that was it. Well, it was a bit more than that. And you know there's a churchyard in Embleton. That churchyard was at one time the centre, probably still is, the centrepiece of Little Embleton. Now, the story was that when some Scots attacked not just Embleton, but swept down the northeast coast. After the battle, one young lad, because the Scots used to take young boys with them, like 11, 12, 13, 14, to train them essentially how to kill. And their job was, at the end of a battle, to go around the battlefield, seeing if they can help any wounded Scots, and finishing off with a dirk, a small dagger, any of the enemy that were on the battlefield. And this was supposed to be this guy's job. But they discovered when they took him in that he was a piper and he could play brilliantly on the pipes. So they didn't hurt him, they didn't harm him, they didn't kill him, they didn't hang him. Not immediately anyway. And this guy was used, got to know the people of the village. They got to like him. He, it seems, got to like them, or so it seemed. And he used to play all of these fancy bagpipe tunes for them. But the people of Embleton were totally unaware that the songs or the tunes that he was playing on the bagpipes were all anti-English songs supporting Scotland. They just thought, that's a nice tune, I can tap my feet to that, and dance to it. So this young lad eventually was found out, and they hanged him from a tree in Embleton Cemetery. And apparently the tree, from the day that he was hanged on the tree started dying, and people believe that it's the tree that's just inside the main gateway into the churchyard that is just one huge rotting stump. And that was because they hanged the young lad whose only job was playing music, which is interesting enough. Anyway, also other people have contacted me. I'm going to give as many name drops as I can. Joanne Park from Blythe did send a photo, Tony. I just don't know how to send a photo that's been sent on Facebook to anybody else.
You could probably message it to the Night Owls page or something like that. I'll have to talk you through it.
Talk me through it at some point. But what Joanne did, she said that she'd seen us when we did the Blythe show, and we walked along Blythe Pier, and that area where you're supposed to, if you look down, you can see faces staring back up at you. And she says she goes to Blythe Quayside regularly. She takes the dog down, and she sees occasionally faces. And she took a photograph, and it's the most illuminated face. It is a clear face that she's caught. It's a great shot. And she says that she sent, there's two pictures of it. One is the original shot. The other one is the picture blown up. Once Tony teaches me how to do it, I'll bang it on. Also, she says, regularly when she's down there, the dog suddenly starts reacting as if someone's stroking her, and appears to being stroked while she's just on the end of the lead and she can't explain it. Dave Hill loved the East End walk. He currently lives literally just around the corner from where we were, and got the shock of his life when he watched it on the Sunday. I don't think he's a supporter, so he probably not hear this, but he loved it anyway, which was good news. As I say, I've got a whole bundle of notes that across the week I've been jotting down. Adam wanted more UFO and alien related stuff on Robson's World. Well, and I mentioned last week, don't worry, there's something coming up this week. Well, it wasn't last week, it's this week. Alien abduction files with a new bundle that's out first of the month, which will be tomorrow morning. It's part of the February bundle. You know, we on Robson's World, we put 3 out at like a bonus price, and alien abductions is a new one that goes in with that. It's out on the bundle tomorrow if you want to hear it first. If not, it comes out singly on Sunday with a thing about the drug and sex thing going on behind children's television, which is something else that's random. Gary visited, I love this. This is my favorite one of the week, I have to say. Gary visited York and said, I absolutely followed your trail and I loved it. He said, we actually got quite a nice day, although it was cold. He says, we stopped off for a Betty's cinnamon toast. And he put in brackets, it is nice, but he puts in brackets the reality of life at the present moment. He says, I could have bought 3 loaves and a jar of cinnamon for the cost of 1 slice of cinnamon toast. But he enjoyed it anyway. He said, I had everything in York that you had except the bells. And I said, I even had fish and chips at the Golden Fleece. It was a fabulous day. Thanks for all of the ideas. Well, that's great. We've always been aware right from the very beginning when we started about you guys coming down and driving up or traveling around the places where we go. And the great thing about places like York and Whitby, even to people who live in Northumberland, it's a couple of hours, tops. If you live in Teesside, it's like 35, 40 minutes for some of you, so it really is part of the patch. We need excuses to go places where we can see stuff and we don't have to spend a fortune. Because you know yourself, if you go out drinking or you go out I'll have a 3-course meal, then we shall pop out for drinks. Blimey, you're spending a mortgage on that kind of stuff these days. So if we can find other ways of doing stuff, that's pretty cool. This one is nice also. It's another Robson's Worldly. Brian Hall of Leeds is a supporter, apparently. He says he was blown away by the listen to the band music that we've got on at the present moment. He says, and I didn't realize this, but I mean, Tony and I are from the world of radio where you hear what they want you to hear, not what you ask for, not what you request anymore, unless you request something that's on their playlist. And I've always thought that was absolute, frankly, shite. Forgive my language. But I've always thought that was just plain wrong. Surely there should be somewhere you can go where you say, I'd love to hear that. And then it's on. And particularly in this day and age, we should have variety of all kinds. Instead, radio is shrunk. We've got networking. We've got the vast majority of shows coming from other parts of the country. I think that it's the wrong way to go, but, it's up to them. Anyway, but the listen to the band thing blew my mind because you said most of the songs in Listen to the Band I had never, ever heard, although I saw them in the charts at the time. And he said particularly he loved Give Ireland Back to the Irish by Paul McCartney and Wings. More stuff like this, please. Mind you, the 9 Inch Nails song did shock my mother, who happened to be in the house when that track came on. Sorry about that, but that's why they're banned. You see, some of them are banned for good reason. And also Di Hetherington, and she's at college in Wakefield, and she says really enjoying the ghost hunts. Keep them coming. And she says, and the specials you put out on Robson's World are super cool shows, not like anything you can get anywhere else. And then she's finished off just by saying proper with a thumbs up. So thank you very much, Di Hetherington. So that's all the bits and pieces from your notes. Keep them coming across the week. If I spot them, you'll be mentioned on next week's Blah. And don't forget, if you've got any suggestions of places for us to go, happy to do that too. Back to you, Tony. You got any?
Yeah, Maz sent a picture in from last week.
Well, there's something there. You can see the anomaly of the hazy, misty. To be honest, it's totally above where the 3 circles are. If you look at the largest anomaly.
I don't know where exactly that is, but we're a bit of everywhere, weren't we? That must have been on Kenny's camera.
Yes.
Oh, because he went in the like into those trees, didn't he?
He did. The bits the bit on the right hand side, you see just eyes and a mouth, and more eyes and a mouth below that. If you look, there's something that almost looks like one of those Simples creatures in the middle. Don't know whether you can see that, the meerkat. And I can't. Lower right, there's another kind of facial kind of anomaly. for me, and thanks for sending that in. Who sent Mars?
Mars, yeah.
Thank you, Mars. For me, the biggest and best part of it isn't actually the bits caught in the boxes, although that's good. It's that overall anomaly, because there was no mist that night at all. There was no fog whatsoever. No. Yet you've got that huge wadge covering half of the bush with some kind of misty. Now, had that been out of the bush in the darker area, that would have looked completely like a ghost. That's good. So it's a great shot, Mars. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Indeed.
Just take it off.
I think it's just great that you bother and you go to the trouble. Oh, here we go. Hi, Alan. Sheena here. Sheena used to be a punk rocker, apparently. Ramon told me that. My mum told me this, but only when I was older. My home village is West Thurston, Felton. When I was 6 years old, I was off to bed. My room was the front of the cottage. And about 10 p.m., I marched into the sitting room angrily complaining that I couldn't sleep as there was a little girl sitting at the bottom of my bed chatting and wouldn't shut up. I described her and was really put out. The next day, my mum shared a story with an old neighbour over the road. It appears a 6-year-old girl who lived in our house before us had drowned in the River Coquet and had been laid out dead in my bedroom. So how about that?
Wow.
Absolutely fantastic. And somebody's just texted me, and I think it's about the Vicky Tinian thing as well. Right. No, it's not about that at all. It's about Adam saying he liked the sci-fi thing and he wants more sci-fi. Brilliant. No worries. Working on it. Right. The Vicky Tinian thing was she went to a place where we went looking for spirit and had an experience of a child spirit. So that's roughly what it was. I'd love to know where it was. So if anybody else read that, let me know what it was. Sorry, Tony, back to you, mate.
No, that's it. That was just the WhatsApp from Maz sent in. So if you've got any more, though,
absolutely,
now's the time.
Incidentally, and I knew it was always going to be a quickie tonight because I know a lot of you will be quite keen to watch the football. Where are we tomorrow? Okay. He's keeping all of his ribs. That's the first clue. He's keeping all of his ribs. Ronnie Hilton's the second clue. You have to ask your nana about this. Your nana, your great nana, maybe even. A mouse lived in one of these. Ronnie Hilton says. A mouse lived in one of these. Ronnie Hilton said. Now, Ronnie Hilton was a long, long, long way ago. And have a word with your mum. When your mum says she's far too young for that, ask your nana. If not, give it a Google. Where are we? Those two clues should tell you where we are tomorrow night. It's going to be, I think, around 8-ish. We're going to be getting there for about 7:30. By 8 o'clock, we'll start to kick it. So get ready. That's what's happening tomorrow night. And just to give you a little bit of advance notice, the ghost hunt next week will be on Tuesday night. Okay, Tuesday night, because it's the only time we can do that particular one. So we're sliding in the direction of Tuesday. Okay, so probably no blah. In fact, no blah, certainly. But we will be out and about unless we did a live one. Oh, there we go. Any haunted places in Sandy Bay, Hollywood? Tony and Alan. Sandy Bay is a modern creation. You know, Sandy Bay Caravan Park. We've gigged there from time to time. Certainly Kenny and I. I'm not so sure about Tor. So it's relatively new. I would have to do a proper research of the whole area. Yes, of course, there's history. Yes, of course, because it's on the coast, it would have had Roman involvement. It would have had certainly Viking, Scottish attacks because of where it is. So there's bound to be history in that neck of the woods. I shall have a look, and if we can sandy bay for you, we shall do that. Difficulty is when it's on a caravan park, it's full of people. I mean, at this time of year, we're not so badly off.
Got a beach, haven't they? But I don't know if you can get to it without going through the caravan park. Yeah,
that's exactly one of the issues. But we'll have a look. I mean, there'll be sand either side of it. Just if it's in the middle, even just getting from one side to the other could be a 25-minute walk of us doing not very much. So we'll have a look if we can sandy bay. It's a one for us. And don't forget, if you live in a particular place, wherever it is, let us know where it is. And if we can find a center point to base what we do around it, we'll be happy to do that. We're always on the lookout. I've already got a great one. It's in the North Riding of Yorkshire, and it's a canny way down, especially from where I am, right up the top. However, it's great. So we're going to have to do that at some point as well. And it's an absolute corker, and you will absolutely enjoy it. However, tomorrow night, a mouse lived in one, according to Ronnie Hilton. And do not forget, he kept all his ribs. Right. They're the clues. I think we're done unless there's anything else, Tony. Is anything else coming?
No, all good. Apart from Facebook annoying people and people aren't getting notifications, when we go live and stuff. So I was thinking maybe we should do on YouTube tomorrow and just post a private link in the supporters group. That way, you'll see the post that we'll put in. And obviously, if you're on YouTube, you'll get a notification.
Do whatever we need.
Yeah, it's a problem that we can't control, really. I know it's frustrating, and you've got your notifications on, so in theory you should get a notification when we go live, but it just never happens. So yeah.
So if you get this, if you watch this, it will be Wednesday night, about 10 to 8. I'm thinking around about then is probably when we're going to be hitting it tomorrow. We're not going to be far from that. So we look forward to your company. Thanks again for your support. We need it, as you know, and keep spreading the words, and let's keep going. Robson's World's going potty at the moment, so thank you for that as well. A lot of people really getting into the stuff that we're doing. And if there's subject matter there that you would like more information on, or maybe a special put together for, let us know. I've got a whole batch that have never been put out. They'll be coming your way in the fullness of time. And we've got a few new ones too. So we're mixing and matching and hopefully delivering stuff for people that like the late night listen. And it seems that more and more of you are getting back into that again, wanting just something to night owl with late at night that's interesting, juicy, different, odd, funny at times, tragic, that. So we'll have some more of them for you. Until we are together again tomorrow night, though, from Hollywood McShane.
Good night.
From Kenny, who's in the middle of a crowd. And from me, Alan Robson. Good night. God bless you. I wish you well and enjoy the football. Catch you tomorrow.